the powerful story of love and loss that inspired the creation of Shakespeare's timeless masterpiece, Hamlet. Hamnet is directed by Chloé Zhao, written by Chloé Zhao and also Maggie O'Farrell. Cinematography is done by Lucas Zhao, and composing the film is Max Richter. Hamlet released in theaters on November 26, 2025, and is nominated for 6 or 8 Academy Awards for this upcoming Academy Award show this March. And I figured today it will be fun and also kind of important for me just to go through the movie, give my thoughts on the film, and also explain the nominations and also explain some snubs that I have for this movie as well. But going to the movie here, number one, I saw this movie. It was kind of trending and it was really popular last year, later into the year when it came out. And I knew I had to go see it. I knew it was going to be a really big movie going into the award season. And I heard a lot of big things about how good the film was. So earlier this year, the first day of the year, January 1st, I went to my local-ish Regal and I saw this movie and it was really good. I really, really did enjoy it. It exceeded my expectations. I didn't think it was going to be bad, but I didn't think it was going to be this good either. I really have a special kind of love and affinity for this type of movie, having films like this that are so well thought out, so clearly there's so much love and passion for this story, and that being echoed to the screen, and also seeing this kind of movie in a theater was so important for me. And I'm not trying to yap too much in the opening prologue. So going into the nominations, we have 8 here, and it's all that I would have predicted for what this movie really deserves. Going into our nominations here, we have number 1, the biggest one of the night, is Best Picture. Number 2, we do have Best Actress in a Leading Role for Jessie Buckley. Directing for Chloé Zhao, much so deserved. Adapted Screenplay is another nomination. The Casting Award is still brand new, and I have no idea how this award is going to be judged, or what this even means for, in quotes, best casting. I don't know, but it's here as well. Original score, another nomination. Costume design and also production design is here. And for my personal snubs with the movie, I think that the actor in a supporting role was so stacked this year. It was a very stacked category for the Academy to pick from. And I have a lot of thoughts for that one. I think they did a good job picking the nominees. Delroy Lingo and also Sean Penn. It's really good overall. But still, I think that Paul Mescal, Jacoby Jupe, and also his brother Noah Jupe, if I could just give them nominations to like 20 people, they would squeeze in there for sure. And I think that it was very weird. It was very weird and odd to see Paul Mescal in a movie playing William Shakespeare, playing him this well, and still not being nominated. It felt so wrong, but it was a very competitive year for supporting actors, and he just couldn't find his way to squeeze in. I really do believe Paul Mescal is one of the best actors of our time, but he's not going to win an Oscar this year. He's going to win eventually. I know that for a fact, but it won't be this year. It'll happen later, but not in 2026. So the second snub for me is going to be cinematography as well. Cinematography for this movie is beautiful. Chloé Zhao loves to shoot in natural light. It's on full display here with this movie, and I think that it really should have gotten a nomination. And the same thing goes for cinematography. It was very competitive this year. It was a great year for cinematography. So much super cool experimental stuff going on that not every movie could get a nomination. Looking at 28 years later, does something that's so cool with digital cinematography. It does it in such a very unique way, pushing the boundary of what digital cinematography can look like, shooting on iPhones as well. And 28 years later, also no nomination, which is okay, but it shows that last year it was a great year for cinematography. Cinematographers and DPs really stepped up to their game, and Hamnet was a film that deserved a nomination but didn't get in for it. So just going into each nomination, what are the nominations and why did they get here? And I'll start off with Best Picture. That's a really big one. It's one of the biggest ones of the night. And Best Picture for this movie, it makes sense. This story is so big. It's so broad. It's very tender and intimate and very quiet at times. But still, this story of just pure tragedy and heartbreak and loss. And still, I think that the movie being about taking loss and grief and your pain and making art with that is something that's a theme that I really connect with just naturally in my life. And I think that with movies as a whole, we all have that one comfort film, or we all go to movies on a bad day, or even if it's a good day, we take those emotions and we translate it, or we feel it into movies, or we have our spirit lifted up with art. And I feel like the movie is about that a lot here, which I really appreciate a movie like that, and taking this theme and really translating it so clearly. It doesn't really leave you with any kind of question of what this movie's about. It's so clear. It's so right in front of you in big, bold text on what this movie is trying and supposed to tell you. And it's a beautiful, beautiful message. And also, if I can just talk about my personal experience in the theater, my theater for this movie was somewhat small. It's not like it was like Avengers Endgame level packed, or it's not like it was a Shazam level empty or Black Adam level empty back when the DCEU was somehow still in theaters, or the Marvels level empty. I'm sorry, I'm just being mean now. But still, it wasn't super empty. It wasn't super duper full. It was a matinee on New Year's Day, so I'm not going to expect like a packed theater. But still, my theatrical experience with this movie, I didn't talk to anyone. I was with my friend when I saw the movie. Shout out to my friend for buying the tickets for us. But I think that with this movie, the theatrical experience, I was experiencing these kind of emotions, this kind of tragedy with the theater, with the collective audience, and all of us in the theater. I didn't communicate with anyone verbally, but I still felt these kind of emotions being shared in the same room. That kind of made this movie feel so much more powerful when I saw it, which I really do appreciate it. That's what I love about movies, and that's why streaming is very accessible. And I watch most of the movies I watch are on streaming or physical media at home. But this movie, Hamnet, if it wasn't clear to me already, it's clear now that the theatrical experience, it's very important. It's very important to see this movie, to see this kind of movie be made is a miracle. But seeing it in a theater would be the greatest service you can do in your entire life. Really, Hamnet is that kind of movie. It's that level good, and I love it just so much for that. So Best Picture, it's very deserving of it. Moving on to the next categories, I'm not trying to rant too long for all these, but for Best Actress in a Leading Role, it's Jessie Buckley. Jessie Buckley, I haven't seen her too much. I don't have a lot of experience with her. The only other thing I've seen her in was that one little miniseries. It's on HBO Max right now. It's one of the best miniseries ever in all time for TV history. It's great. It's really incredible. Her role in that show wasn't the biggest, but her role in Chernobyl was really good. I know that she's also in I'm Thinking of Ending Things, which came out in 2020. Heard about that movie. I heard it's good. And also Women Talking. Heard about that one too. But this movie, it's the best of the year for an actress in a leading role. I don't think that this race is very close at all. We have some incredible actresses are in the Oscars for running this year for Best Actress in a Leading Role, like Emma Stone. She's one of the best of the decade, or all-time century. For all history of film, Emma Stone is up there for sure. But her performance in Begonia doesn't touch Jessie Buckley in this movie. I feel like this role for her character, it's so big, it's so broad. Like I say it a lot, and it sounds like I'm a broken record, but it's one of the performances that if Jessie Buckley in this movie isn't good, the movie as a whole automatically sucks. The whole movie is immediately bad if she is not good. She is the focus. She's the center focal point of the movie. She is the character for this loss and for this tragedy. If her performance doesn't really hit, or if her performance isn't really convincing, the movie immediately is a failure. And I've said it a lot last year with a lot of different performances, like Timothée Chalamet is another performance in that movie with Marty Supreme, where I'd say if Timothée Chalamet isn't good, then the movie automatically is bad. I've said it even with the Knives Out movie with Josh O'Connor. That's a very focal character. If he's not good in the movie as a whole immediately is bad. Jessie Buckley is that kind of actress. It's a performance that, I sound cliche, I sound like I'm being paid to say this, but Jessie Buckley is a performance that truly moved me emotionally, that I haven't felt a performance move me like this in a very, very long time. I think that it could go down as one of the all-time great performances ever in all of film. And once again, there's a very competitive race this year for the actresses like Rose Byrne and also Emma Stone, Kate Hudson, incredible actresses, but no one. I haven't seen everything either, but I just don't think that anyone comes close to what Jessie Buckley does. And my words won't do it justice. This is a truly, it sounds like I'm being paid and I'm sponsored, but it's a truly powerful and just heart-shaking performance that I haven't seen an actress done in a very long time. It's up there for an all-time great performance in film history as well. She's great in Hamnet. I think it's really a unanimous, it's her all day. And I love every single actress here, but I think that it's really especially just very important just to mention how good Buckley is in this movie and how clear it is that she's going to win. The next nomination here for this movie is going to be directing, which directing Chloé Zhao, like I said it before a little bit earlier, how she's really good at directing movies. Obviously, she did Nomadland, and also she did Eternals. Eternals doesn't really exist anymore in our minds of MCU fans, but still, she did a good job with Eternals. Eternals gets a bad rap, but still, it has the best cinematography for a movie, I'd say, probably for the MCU, and she's a very special director, and I think that if you're a director who directed a movie that's nominated for Best Picture, also nominated this kind of movie with this kind of scale to it, this level of emotion to it as well, that immediately you would deserve a director nomination for this movie and for this role. And she already won for Best Director in 2020 for Nomadland, and maybe, that was a very interesting movie, but I feel like for this one, this year's a very competitive year for the Academy, and she most likely won't win, but her kind of importance and her kind of thing she did for this movie should be recognized on the biggest stage, which it will be. But will she win? No. But she definitely did something very special here. For this kind of movie, to direct a movie in general is hard, but to direct this movie takes a very special kind of director, which she is definitely up for the task with this one, and she did a very good job. The next one I would say is going to be adapted screenplay. That's the next nomination. And adapted screenplay, I haven't read the book that this is based on. I haven't read it quite yet. I know it exists. I don't read that much. I read The Diary of a Wimpy Kid is the thing I read a lot of, but I don't really read that much. So can't really say if it does a good job adapting the screenplay, but still, to make a screenplay in general is really hard. To make this screenplay alone, as it stands, is already really hard. To make it and adapt it from another source material, and to make it this good is very impressive. They definitely deserve the nomination here. And for the other category, for casting, once again, I'm not too sure. What does it mean for a movie to have good casting? Is it based on how diverse it is, how good the performances are? What does it truly mean, and what is it truly based on when it comes to the Academy voting for quote-unquote best ensemble? I'm not sure what that means, but I will say the cast is good. I'll admit that is great. Jessie Buckley is already in for the best actress. That's true. And Paul Mescal is Paul Mescal. If you've seen any Paul Mescal, you know how good he is. It feels like I don't need to say much about him to elevate him more. But when it comes to my other two snubs that I have for this movie, and I'll just kind of break them down here too, with the child acting, and one of them isn't a child. Jacoby Jupe is the child actor here in the movie, and he's incredible. It's very hard, I think, to cast children in movies and shows because, you have the obvious criticism that children don't know how to act, but we've seen throughout film history that's just obviously a lie. And there's definitely, I think it takes a special, maybe kind of talent to direct a child on screen, and also for the child to be able to be so magnetic and so glued to the role like Jacoby Jupe was with this movie, that I was really anticipating and expecting a nomination for him. I feel like it's one thing for an actor to be good, but when a child actor is good, it really does just kind of get all the focus and attention to it. He's only 12 years old, but acting alongside these incredible actors, acting in this big of a movie, and really doesn't seem like he's very shaken by it. Doesn't feel like he's very under pressure in anything here. That is just true, I think, mastery here with this movie. And also his brother is Noah Jupe, and they kind of play the same character almost. Jacoby Jupe plays Hamnet, who is, the actual Shakespeare son. Then Noah Jupe, his older brother, plays Hamlet in the play. Super cool stuff there. I didn't even know that till like 20 minutes ago. But still, Noah Jupe is also incredible. He's not a child actor. In fact, we're actually like about the same age, which is kind of weird. But still, Noah Jupe, I've been watching him in movies for a long time now, and he's a phenomenal actor. His role in the movie, I won't spoil it, but it's kind of somewhat short here. But still, he does incredible with the time he's given, and really another case of his performance. If it's not good, then that's going to be a very weak point of the movie. His moment and his part of the movie is on the biggest stage. Literally, it's on the stage in the movie, to where all eyes are on him in the audience, and definitely for literal sense for the movie as well, that if his performance isn't good when all the lights are on him, all the bright lights are on him, then that's going to be a very weak point in the movie. And he nailed it. He nailed it. He did a very good job here with his role, to where a nomination probably wouldn't happen, but it's definitely very apparent and very clear that he was very good. He did a very good job. He's definitely one of the better ones and one of the more important roles in the movie that he definitely nailed. So continuing to go through nominations here, the next one is going to be the original score, and comes to us from Max Richter. And Max Richter, if you know him, then you know him. You may not actually know him, but you definitely do know him. What do you mean by that? You're probably asking. Well, he composed the track On the Nature of Daylight, which if you've seen some random movies like, Arrival, Shutter Island, it was also played in The Last of Us. This track has been played in 4 movies that I can name that I've seen. And it's kind of ridiculous how much this score is used, but I'm not mad. I mean, this score piece is on my playlist. It's a very great score piece. It was in Arrival, and that's probably the best case it's been used in, I think, still to this day. It's used in the end of Arrival, also used in the end of this movie as well. I think that its use in the end of this movie is just incredible, but it's starting to get annoying how much of a cheat code this score track is. If your movie is like a 5 out of 10, if you throw in On the Nature of Daylight in the end of the movie, immediately I'm giving it at least a 7. Like, that's how much I love this score. That's how good this score is. And still, how annoying it is that he was here to compose this movie, to put this piece of score in the film. It's a cheat code. It's literally a cheat code. That's why it got the nomination, because it's literally a cheat code of a score track. Still incredible composer. Still incredible composer. He's really talented. And, his score is great, but still, the track is a cheat code, and I'm really annoyed by it, but it was deserving of it, for sure. And the last couple of nominations here before we head out here for the day is costume design and production design. And still, these last 3 nominations, and I think all these all together, definitely kind of all may mix with each other, to the point where I feel like Hamnet, and I said it earlier in the episode, to have this kind of movie, I feel like it's just so special, because we don't get a lot of period pieces, and a lot of them may feel the same a little bit, but this movie, it feels different, it feels fresh, it feels new, and it's really important for a period piece kind of movie. I talked about it last week when it comes to the production design, also costume design nominations, that if those 2 pieces, I know they're usually considered some of the more less important nominations, compared to Best Director, Best Picture. When it comes to costume design, production design, it gets kind of brushed to the side. It really shouldn't be, because especially this kind of movie, when it comes to a period piece movie, it's very important to have these 2 things on lock, and definitely to have them at a very peak point for your film to work. And when it comes to Mighty Supreme, when it comes to Hamnet, making a period piece movie is not easy. It's very expensive. It requires a lot of attention to detail. To be period accurate is very, very important, and it's not easy at all. To even do it okay deserves nomination. To do it this good deserves all the praise and all the glory. I think that the more I just watch older movies and movies in general, looking at production design, looking at costume design, it's so important to be very detailed with your work. It's so important to really have such a level of dedication to your work with these two things that without them, the movie just won't be what they are. And there's a lot of pieces in films that just make them so good. It really takes an army to make a movie that's like a 2 out of 10. It takes a lot of hard work to make a trash movie. To make a movie this good, executed this well, it takes a team of very skilled people, which Hamnet does so well. This movie, I think, still, it shows that filmmaking is important. It shows that going to the cinema is important. If you can see Hamnet in a theater, I recommend you do. And at the time of this recording, I'm recording it on January 27th. This movie is still in theaters, at least in my local area. I recommend if you can see this movie in theaters, please go see it. It's that important of a movie to see. I know it's a very rough economy. You know, America's in a very weird spot right now in the news and, you know, economy-wise. A lot of people don't really want to go to the theater because of the money. But if you can afford it, if you can go get your butt out of your house to go see the movie in theaters, I recommend you do. It's going to be worth it to you on all facets. And my final score for the film is going to be an A, and you should definitely go see it if you couldn't tell from me sounding like I'm sponsored. You know, I sound sponsored right now by the whole entire Hamnet production crew, but I'm not. You know, I'm not sponsored by any kind of media team. I say go see the movie on the biggest stage possible. See the cinematography, the incredible natural lighting for the cinematography. See the incredible performances that are so dedicated, so rich and unique. See the incredible costume design, production design. Hear the score. See the incredible, in quote, best casting that this movie definitely deserved. You know, see all of it and really, truly go to the theater and experience and support this kind of movie. You know, it's a very scary time to live in where streaming is going to be the new thing pretty soon here. You know, pretty soon we may not be watching a Superman film in theaters. It might only be on streaming. Who knows? It's a very scary time to be alive for cinephiles and film lovers. But if you can go support a film like this in theaters, it's the most important you can do as a fan, as a supporter for this art form. Go see the film in a theater. If you can, go do it. But that will just about end my yapping for this movie for today. This movie's really good, if you can already tell. And there's a lot of other really good films I need to go into just heading into the Academy Awards season. So stay tuned. Next week, we'll be going to that next film, whatever it might be. It might be Begonia. It might be Train Dreams. It might be Smashing Machine. I'll have to see it pretty soon. But until next time, I'll see you guys in the next one.